When I started this project, I was reminded of the fact that whenever you order something, you sometimes get this tiny little thing in this huge box. And I thought that's just incredibly wasteful of all the opportunity to reduce packaging, but also reduce cost. And so when working on this project, we're obviously packaging lots of very different things together in a box. And it reminded me of Tetris and that ability to put lots of things together in a really efficient way. And of course, that requires quite a lot of mental effort, and why not offload that to an AI to make the job easier for humans as part of a more efficient operation that's not just good for the planet, but also saves the company money as well.
So my name is Liam Dowd. I'm the Head of Packaging Sustainability at RS. It's a really important time in the packaging landscape. Massive topics that have really changed in the last few years, which is around EPR and PPWR. So one of the biggest drivers with PPWR is the void fill requirement. So this is the obligation is that you can have no more than 40% void fill.
So here's a really good example. So where we're cutting that down, that's packaging tax, where we're going to be paying for void fill. So of course, with this example, one, we've got costs, so this is a far larger box than we need to. And again, with regulations coming in place, this could be half the size it needs to be with PPR.
So this is one of our 2 auto pack lanes. What the guys are doing, they're taking the customer order products out of the tote, which has travelled around our system, and they're decanting it into one of our cartons that we ship out. The cartons will travel into the auto pack machine, where it will lift them up. It will sense the highest point of the stock that's in the carton, and then it will drop it back down, and then it will crimp that auto pack box to the size that's the highest point, and then it'll go to the next stage and stick a lid on.
It's determining the top of the stock on resistance, not on anything visual.
On resistance, yeah, so there's no visual look, it's just touching the plate and it's feeling something, and then that's the lowest point that it will be crimped down to, yeah.
So it's very dependent on how they packed it.
It is very, yeah, you know, we don't want to be shipping lots of fresh air in our cartons, because it, one, makes them unstable, and two, from an ESG point of view, we want to save money on that sort of thing. So we do ask them to pack them quite well, and so the guys have to play a bit of a Tetris type game with the box to make sure they're packing it in the best way they can, but it can be quite a challenge.
Our objective in operations is to try and stay up with the game, and in some cases ahead of it, and be really innovative. You know, so I think it's really important for us to make sure we keep up with technology, embrace it, and use what's available out there to enhance our performance and our efficiency and our productivity of our people on site.
So he was explaining this problem to me that he was trying to solve, and I said, yeah, what you're talking about is a really classically hard AI problem called bin packing. Coming from games, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that I can actually simplify the problem down and make it be many orders of magnitude less nasty. And so we went back and forth for a few places and found a good way to sort of quantify some of the very typical stuff that RS Components ships. And using that method, we were able to do very high quality bin packing without an insane amount of compute. We can actually do it right here with a little thing right there on the table.
So NVIDIA really brought us on this journey to basically see whether we could condense all of the packaging complexity in something much simpler that would allow us to basically create efficiencies and reduce waste.
So, using the actual thing you shipped to us, we hooked it all up. We got it running with some software that would actually determine how this fits in a box or in a mailer. We can then, with just a web camera, sort of scan some items. In this case, it's just the one item. So if I look at the output, it's actually giving us a fairly small box to put it in, or I have a mailer of a particular size that it knows it fits into.
What I love about this is such a tight fit that I think no one working in this factory who's in a hurry, who is unfamiliar with this, would intuitively put it in such a tight-fitting box. And so it makes total sense that they did put it in a large box with some wrapping. But this is what's so great about having the algorithm, is that it would reassure someone packing that they can definitely just squeeze it in just right, and that's thanks to the program. So we've seen the Fox packing with one item, but now let's see it with a load of different items all jumbled up.
Jude, why don't you try and pack that by yourself? I'll run the machine and see what it says.
So I've tried packing it myself. It's about 85, 90 mil high, and obviously if we've got the Z compressing machine, it could be better. So let's see what the AI can do.
The algorithm says we should be able to get it down to about 62 millimeters according to this thing.
Whoa.
Let's try that. So we've been dealing a lot with boxes today, but one of the things that RS uses a heck of a lot of is mailers. And so to actually simplify the problem for us, we basically just quantize that by literally making the various shapes. That's the thickest version that will still fit in the box, all the way down to the thinnest one, right? Each one of these essentially represents a usable volume inside of one of these mailers. And that's how our system sort of incorporated the mailers into the box checker in a very, very easy way. We didn't have to try to figure out the crazy math of a mailer.
In many ways, this project sort of reminds me of how you hear those statistics about we sent people to the moon with the same computing power as a pocket calculator. And it kind of feels like this is something happening in our generation where this is frankly a mind-bending amount of processing or compute happening on this NVIDIA Jeston Orin. And it's allowing us to do these incredible Tetris-y maneuvers with all the different components in the box to get the optimal efficiency. And I find it just extraordinary that this is in the region of a couple of $100 or pounds. And it's just extraordinary to think this is something that a company can get going with basically an interesting pilot that doesn't bet the farm on it. But as always, you learn by doing, and that's where the project gets really exciting for myself and Brian, is we're engaging with the team and the entire workforce in this company to find out what is the best human solution using AI as well.
It's great that we've had the visitors here today talking us through some of the AI opportunities that we have as a business. I think our people are really excited and it's really great that we're embracing and being a bit more innovative as a function and as a business.
So what's been useful with having Jude and Brian here today is really see how we can sort of optimize our packaging as well as we can. Again, from a site of this size, we're shipping over 1 million boxes a year. It's great to then see what that opportunity ahead lies in terms of sustainability, all the ESG efforts that we make as a business, always trying to make sure that we are creating a better world and ensuring that we're doing the right thing.